That's okay. We're all set to go. All righty. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Bob and what's your name at the end? Oh, Roger. Sorry. All those in favor? Thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interests? Seeing none. This evening, there's a public hearing scheduled for one zoning bylaw amendment. It's application number ZBA 24-22FR, Christine Chardon. The Planning Act requires that the public hearing be held before council decides whether or not to pass a zoning bylaw amendment. The public hearing serves two purposes. First, to present to council and the public the details and background to the proposed rezoning. And second, to receive comments from the public and agencies before council makes a decision. Monsieur Dumont will provide a summary of the application. From there, the applicant will be requested to make a presentation in person, followed by questions from the public, either in favor or against the proposal. Council will then have the opportunity to question the applicant, the director of planning, or anyone giving presentation. The zoning bylaw amendment will then be considered for council. Monsieur Dumont, would you please advise how public notice was given?
Thank you. Notice of a public hearing was posted in the municipal office and was sent by mail to the assessed owners within 120 meters of the property subject to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment application, and to those persons and agencies likely to have an interest in the application this evening. The notices were sent on November 26, 2024, being over 20 days prior to this evening's meeting. Included with the notice was an explanation of the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and a key map showing the location of subject property.
I now declare this portion of the hearing to be a public hearing to deal with application number ZBA 24-22FR, Christine Chardon. Monsieur Dumont, would you please summarize the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and provide additional information and correspondence relevant to this application?
Thank you. So with respect to the application this evening, to give you a little bit of context, you may ask, well, why was the notices sent out so early in November 26th? And the reason for that is our office concurrently, meaning we put together both applications. So there's two applications as part of this process. This is the latter half of the process. So the first step was the severance application, which the approval authority is the Sudbury East Planning Board. And actually, the planning board had their meeting December 12th, which took place actually in these council chambers. So the board had approved both conditionally severed lot 1 and severed lot 2. And subsequently, as part of the conditions was to have those lots rezoned. So the concurrent application is being held this evening in front of council. And the reason for that is as per the conditions of severance. And I'll explain to you just briefly the intent and purpose of the rezoning application to council this evening. So going back on the severance, so the intent was to create two rural lots. The individual at the time, or the agent representing the owners of the property, wanted to create two rural lots off of Highway 535, which is a provincial highway with the Ministry of Transportation. And the Ministry of Transportation supported both severances as part of that process. Now, the lot area that was being proposed for lot 1 and lot 2 were both 4.8 hectares. And in terms of lot area with the current zoning bylaw, minimum requirement for a rural lot to be created is 5 hectares. So as you know, they're slightly just under that threshold of 5 hectares. So as a technicality in the zoning bylaw, that needs to be recognized through this bylaw. And that's why we're here tonight. We're here tonight to recognize a special provision, and that special provision will be 109, and it's going to tie together and recognize both proposed lot areas, which are deficient of what the requirement is of 4.8 hectares. And in terms of frontages, there's no concerns in terms of frontages. Both properties exceed the 100-meter threshold for lot frontage. And the retained lands, the balance of the lands in the sketch are substantial in size. It's approximately 15 hectares in lot area with over 380 meters of frontage. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. I just wanted to give a little bit of context of the first meeting, the Sudbury Planning Board being the approval authority for the severances, and then council being the approval authority this evening for the zoning bylaw amendment under the Planning Act. So that's it. Any further questions with respect to the application? Be further or happy to discuss with council.
Thank you. Is the applicant's not here or online?
No.
No, okay. Are there any questions from members of the public? Oh, there you are. Yes, you have to because. Oh, and press your, oh. Yes.
Thank you. I'm Leslie Kitty Angelo, and I live at 1109 Highway 535, the property right beside the land that's being severed. First of all, we didn't get the notice until after Christmas because of the mail strike, so we did not attend the first meeting because we didn't know about it. We got the notice, and that's why we're here tonight. I have some concerns. I'm not sure what purpose of like how many units they want to put on these properties. And the driveway they're proposing is 30 meters from our property line. And I'm concerned about the construction to make those roads, how it's going to affect us, because it is, I mean, it's over 100 feet, but it's still fairly close. So those are my concerns and questions.
Thank you. With respect to the circulation, so just to give you a little bit of context, when Nancy, who works alongside my at the Sudbury Planning Board, we submitted both like it's concurrent, so the severance and the zoning is all together for notice purposes. So I just wanted to provide some perspective on the notices. Now, moving forward to some of the concerns that you have in terms of the units and the amount of units. So the intent of the zoning bylaw is for, so 3 lots altogether. They're keeping 1 lot, severing 2 lots. And each lot is zoned rural with the special provision we kind of touched on. But in terms of use of land, single family homes are permitted. So to give you a little bit of context, multi dense, like, you know, fourplexes, anything beyond 4 units is not permitted. It's not in the zoning bylaw. So for comfort, for your own knowledge, it is zone rural. If you pull up, there's about 30 different uses, predominantly more farming, livestock. That's the intent of that type of zone. And in there, a single detached dwelling unit is a permitted use. So they have a right to do a single family home with respect to that. Now, in terms of like distances from the highway and having some concerns with respect to that, the Ministry of Transportation is the governing body and jurisdiction for entrance permits for these lots. So it wouldn't be the municipality. So they have to be a certain distance. And that's through their online portal process for an entrance permit. So they can't build structures within certain, I'd say 45 meters as an example. That's one of their policies. So they have to be beyond that. So when they go for their entrance permit, they're also looking at where the buildings are going to be located in relation to the Ministry of Transportation's right away. That's how that process works. Oh.
There's not going to be 16 homes built there.
Okay. Mhm. Okay.
And our house is like the end of our house
Mhm.
is maybe 50 feet, 70 feet away. Oh, sorry. So it's 30 meters away from our property line. Our home is maybe 70, the end of our home is maybe 70 feet from the property line. So it's still going to be within like 200, I don't even know, 200 feet or less. So that's a concern for when they're like, how are they putting the road in? There's bedrock there. Like,
Okay.
are they going to be putting dynamite in there to get rid of the rock? And I don't know. It just concerns me. I wouldn't mind it. I mean, they bought the land. They're allowed to do with what they want. It's the driveway and how close to our home that how it's gonna affect us. That concerns me.
Through you, Mayor. I can provide some clarity and I'll simplify things. So through the process, so when you want to create a lot off a provincial highway, before you proceed with the Sudbury East Planning Board, I advise to have conversations with the Ministry of Transportation. Because if you can't gain access to your property, what's the point of going through a severance application? That's makes sense, eh? So part of that preliminary process or pre-consultation process that I have in place with the planning board is to say, hey, the MTO is telling us that they want coordinates. They want coordinates from Google. And when you put your sketch together, provide the coordinates, and that is going to be where the driveway is, because MTO has certain requirements of sight lines, distances, where entrances are permitted and where they're not permitted. So part of this preliminary process, pre-consultation process, they highlighted the coordinates on their sketch, to your point, 35 meters, which is about 115 feet. So the applicant or the agent puts the coordinates on the sketch, and the whole purpose is this then goes to MTO. MTO knows exactly per the coordinates where the entrance is going to be. They will agree to disagree. And that's the whole purpose of that process. In this particular case, MTO says we see both the coordinates for both lots, lot A and lot B. To your point, 35 is the
It's
closest.
30, not
okay.
35.
Okay, the sketch says 35, but so plus or minus, let's just say
Yeah.
15 feet here.
Yeah.
Let's say 100 feet, just to round down. So we're about 100 feet from their lot line. So the lot line of the property to where MTO okayed the proposed entrance was based on this information. So MTO gave the green light basically of saying you're allowed to have a driveway or an entrance 100 feet away from their property line, which abuts your property, basically. That's how that works. MTO okays it.
Okay, and
Oh.
there was no process where I could have had input into MTO. Like that, there seems like there's a missing.
So with that, sorry, through you, Mayor, the MTO process, it's not a public process. Like it's very directive, like property owner, you own your property off of Highway 535 as well. You're going to register your entrance with MTO. So that's how that process will work. No different. It's not a public process with their department. That's the reality of it in terms of, culverts, entrances, and how to access property.
So I can't do anything about it. I can like state but seems wrong. Why have a
Yeah,
public hearing if I can't do anything about it?
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
MTO, unfortunately, yeah. We don't have a say in there. And believe you me, we've had our battles with them too. So is there any questions from the members of the council? No? Okay. Since there's no further questions, I declare this public hearing to be concluded. So it's now in order for council members to make a motion and for council to consider the application. So I would need a mover seconder, Dean and Dave.
It is moved and seconded that bylaw 2025-03 being a bylaw to amend zoning bylaw 2014-23 as amended, X and Chardon, be read at first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. Please be advised that a specific person, public body, or registered owner may appeal the bylaw to the Ontario Land Tribunal by filing a notice of appeal with the clerk of the municipality of French River no later than February 5th. The notice of appeal must set out the reasons for the appeal and must be accompanied by the required fee, which is prescribed under the Ontario Lands Tribunal Act 2017. This fee should be made public to the Minister of Finance, and all comments should be treated as public records given upon requests. And so with that, I need a motion to adjourn. That any and Willie? All those in favor?